Hello, Seiiti Arata. When we hear the word stress, our minds immediately think of someone with many things to accomplish. Professional commitments, writing a thesis, rebalancing their investment portfolio, taking care of the family, and 1,000 other projects all at the same time. But there is another type of stress that is rarely mentioned. It is the stress of doing nothing. This kind of stress comes when you have plenty of ideas in your head, but you fail to execute any of them. You suffer from the analysis paralysis that we already explained in the very first episode of the Hello, Seiiti Arata series. Wow, that was 7 years ago. Analysis paralysis occurs when you spend a lot of time simply planning, studying, observing, and thinking. You know that you could be doing something and you are aware of the potential benefits, but you don't act, and of course you don't see the result that you were hoping for. The distance between the idea in your head and the concrete reality is huge, and this distance creates stress that can be as dangerous as the stress of doing 1,000 things at once. The biggest difference is that the stress of doing nothing can be eliminated much easier than the stress of having 1,000 things to do. Just think small. Think small to act small. This is the best way to eliminate the stress of doing nothing. Well, we fail to act for various reasons, and one of the main reasons is that we think too big. That is, we think about too many things. We're considering everything at the same time. Now, for example, let's imagine Bob, who wants to lose weight. Bob basically needs to eat better and exercise more. Now, the problem is when Bob gets lost in his thoughts. He thinks that he has to hire a nutritionist and enroll in a gym and buy several books on how to lose weight and research new recipes. Bob wonders whether it is better to do diet X or Y or Z. He doesn't know if it's better to fast and work out in the morning or in the afternoon. What will he eat during an upcoming birthday party? Is he gonna make an exception or he's gonna stick to his diet? Bob even thinks about the clothes that he's gonna have to buy after he reaches his goal in a few months. There's so much to think that Bob ends up doing nothing. He ends up not acting. Excessive imagination undermines action. To eliminate the stress of not being able to do what you want, the first step is to think small and act small. If your goal is to lose weight, well, just think about eating better in your next meal. During the meal, just think about the next bite. Stay in the present moment without letting your mind wander to all the problems that may or may not happen during your journey. We've already talked about this in other conversations, but we need to insist on this idea because it is so powerful. Thinking small and acting small is a very effective strategy. Just read one page, just do one push-up, just reply one email. These are actions that are so small you can't procrastinate, you can't leave it for later. And at the same time, they're very powerful because they bring you out of inaction. They break our inertia, they make you move, and after a little action, it's so easier for you to keep moving and doing the things that need to be done. Start taking action today. Tomorrow simply does not exist. Once you've adjusted your mindset to think small, the second step is to start taking action today, preferably right now. Enjoy the moment. It is very common for people to put off action until tomorrow, next Monday, next month. They feel that they need to prepare a little more, they need to study a little more, they need to adjust the planning details a little more. Now, the truth is that this is all procrastination that ends up building up the stress of not doing what needs to be done. You postpone everything for tomorrow because you know tomorrow doesn't exist, and therefore you become comfortable with procrastination. You're telling yourself that you're planning, that you're studying, that you are researching. Please get one thing in your head. Planning is different from acting. Studying is different from acting. Searching on Google how to do something is different from acting. Beware of paralysis analysis. Acting is getting your hands dirty to get closer in practice to the result that you want to achieve. Now, you could argue that planning and studying and researching, they are also actions. Let's look at an example to prove that they're not. Imagine two young entrepreneurs, Norman and Michael. They both want to work in the digital marketing field. Now, Norman buys a complete course on the subject, Norman takes the entire course. He outlines a plan. He researches market references, starts following experts on Instagram and watching YouTube videos on the subject and listening to digital marketing podcasts. So in a few months, Norman has already the knowledge of an expert on the subject, but Norman hasn't earned one single penny. Now, Michael takes action to day one. Michael creates an account on social networks, he starts making some ads, he sends traffic to a sales page of a product in which every single encounter that he has is punctually researching how to solve that problem, implementing a solution. He continues trying and failing and getting it right and learning. In that process, Michael sells some products and he earned some money. Now, after a few months, Norman, the entrepreneur who was planning and studying and researching, he had expenses with courses and books and events. He didn't earn money from digital marketing, but Michael took action. He made a few mistakes, but he also managed to earn some money and get results in practice. Well, of course, planning, studying, researching, they are all important. However, you must be very careful not to use this as an excuse for your procrastination. Use planning only to get you out of inertia, and then take the first step. And then, as problems appear, you can study how to solve that single, specific problem in practice. Report your progress. Use progress as a tool to exercise gratitude and visualize your achievements. Remember this valuable tip. Think small and immediately take action. Now, how could this bring great results? What is the benefit of just reading one page, of just doing one push-up, or answering just one single email? Well, alone, no small action brings results, that is true, but the accumulation of small actions over time with consistency, that will bring results. And it definitely helps you much more than if you're doing nothing, just stressing out, just planning everything that you would do under ideal circumstances. To see the power of small accrued actions, you must report on your progress. You can write down what you've done in a notebook, you can take pictures, you can make videos, you can use social media to show how you are progressing towards your goals. This type of reporting has two effects. The first effect is that you exercise gratitude to the progress that you're making. Gratitude reduces the negative mindset that you're not doing anything. Whenever you put yourself in a state of gratitude, you automatically bring yourself to the present moment, and thus you focus on the good side of things, putting aside the negative aspects of a future that may not even happen. And when you report your progress and you visualize your achievements, the second effect is that you keep discipline high enough to continue moving forward. You increase your self-efficacy when you realize your progress, as we already talked about in the episode 260 of the Hello, Seiiti Arata series. This second effect of increasing self-efficacy is essential. If someday you get discouraged, you can just take a look at your notebook, your photo album, your social media timeline to remember where you started your journey and how far you've come. In the Planning Your Life training, we'll put all of this into practice together. In short, here are 3 simple tips to take the stress out of doing little. Number 1, think small. Number 2, take action today. And 3, track your progress. Start now to get closer to the results you want. In the same way that there are people stressed by having too much to do, there are people stressed by doing too little. These are people who are thinking and planning and studying so much that they never take action and they end up frustrated because of it. Now you know 3 steps you need to take to end that type of stress. Number 1, think small. Second, take action immediately. And third, track your progress so that you can see that you've accomplished something, even when you are acting small. Ideally, these steps are part of a larger plan. You need a plan that covers from your highest personal values, but also identifies the next steps that you need to take to turn your goals into reality. You can learn how to make such a plan in the training Planning Your Life, which is available to you at arata.se/Planning Your Life.